Imagination is the very gateway of reality. So we all know that when Neville starts laying down the King James, he's on his way to making a point, right? Because he said if he was ever locked or stranded on a desert island, the one book you'd want with him is the Bible, because it has everything in it. Hello, and thank you for joining me. I get so excited to have this time with you all here in these videos. We just transfer through all times, space, reality. And so whenever you jump on, or whenever you jump off, we're always on the same train. So, okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there because it's fun. But we are all going through different challenges in our life, and we are working to be our very best higher order person. And we are working to bring out our original purpose, goals, visions, dreams, purposes, acts of service, whatever that looks like in your neighborhood. So, what I've found lately, one of my very favorite movies is The Princess and the Frog. And when I'm looking at Neville Goddard's work, we just completed At Your Command. You know, everyone is us pushed out. Think about how Tiana went on her journey before she became the queen, but how she began to not see herself and everybody, and then as she evolved, even when she was a frog and then she became a princess, she was able to have that deeper compassion of how each aspect was her pushed out. Well, I've been using that soundtrack in my life, and I wanted to just hit this because so many of us are on this grand journey. And you know the song? She's like, well, I'm almost there, and I'm almost there. People down here think I'm crazy, but I don't care. Do you hear that about Princess Tiana? She had that dream, she had that goal, right? Her parents were both hard workers, right? So she had clearly vision, she had a clear awareness, and she made it into a clear reality over much challenges. The next line says, trials and tribulations, I've had my share. There ain't nobody, nothing gonna stop me now, 'cause I'm almost there. So I wanna encourage you too, that you're almost there. Oh yeah, you're almost there. People might think you're crazy, which means you're actually extremely intelligent and creative, but we are almost there. Okay, so I just want to encourage you because so I'm going to read this too. She's telling her mom that she doesn't have time for dancing. She doesn't have time for messing around because it's in New Orleans. There's some fine men up there. And she's talking about how the town might slow down and people may be taking it easy. But no matter what, each day, she is keeping a clear vision of her goal. So she has what? Here's our Neville math. She has her desire, very clear, plus her I am awareness. And by the end of the movie, she becomes the reality, right? The beautiful restaurant in New Orleans. Okay, so we're going to be tying different things about Neville to fun movies like this because these movies are here for a reason. And I don't know, the soundtrack also on The Princess and the Frog, there's so many good songs. The one about the witch doctor where she's just like, don't matter where you come from, no matter what you be. And she's basically saying we don't care about where you come from or what you do. You need to know who you are and what it is you want. Okay, I'll get to that song. If they knew what they wanted me to do, right? She's like, people come to her because she's the voodoo, but she's really making some good gumbo. So anyway, fun way to start off this video. Okay, so we are venturing down into something new. Okay, what is it? We are hitting up Neville Goddard's Awakened Imagination. We're going to start off with this quote. Imagination is the very gateway of reality. If you look at the Princess and the Frog, right? She had the imagination. So even though she was, her parents worked really hard, and her dad did hard labor, her mom worked in the house, sewing and making the home beautiful. Then she started working in restaurants and all these things, but she still had this very clear vision that she wanted to make this like New Orleans vibe, swanky, with her dad's gumbo stew and some of her great cookings that they shared with the friends and family in their neighborhood. So she is exactly the imagination of the gateway of the reality that brought that dream to life. So Neville Goddard, we love you. So that's what we're doing. Neville Goddard, Awakened Imagination. Okay, but we always start off with prayer. We're always starting off with prayer. When we first started, we were really focused on Maui, and we still are. Lahaina is going through so much. Kula, Olovalu, Oahu, the water crisis situation. Each day there's information coming out that's showing that the petroleum products are much far reaching than originally said. There's just a lot going on in the Hawaiian Islands, but we also know there is a lot going on worldwide. And so we want to hold up the world. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got the whole world. In our hands, we got the whole world. In our hands, we got the whole world in our hands. And we're going to say prayers, and we're going to hold it with these higher order values. So we've been working on peace, love, abundance, provision, joy. Just whatever it is, grab that state. You know, you may be focused like in Gaza, you may be looking at Palestine, seeing that they need hospitals and they need food and they need shelter. You may be looking into Israel and you may be seeing the same things. You may be looking in Japan, in Korea. You may be seeing things across the United States, different places needing assistance. And you know what? It's right in your backyard. It doesn't even have to be very far away. There's a lot of our kapuna, our elderly, that need assistance, and our young children and the parents of children. And so let's lift the world up, okay? So here we go. Pick the state. Got it? Peace, love, whatever it is. Okay, here we go. We lift up those who are grieving. Okay, so now we're going to release the prayer. We're going to just cast care onto God, for He cares for us. And as we release the prayers, our angels and all of the heaven's armies go to work making things happen. And then we are also able to do what we can where we are. All right, thank you so much for our continued prayers. I have been seeing beautiful results. And there's just things that are going to bear fruit in the years and decades to come and centuries to come that we don't even know that our prayers put out there. So, okay. Awakened imagination. Dun, 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 dun. Imagination is the very gateway of reality. That was me making an R. Neville Goddard. So Neville Goddard to Bill. Imagination, the real and eternal world of which this vegetable universe is but a faint shadow. What is the life of man but art and science? Question mark. William Blake, Jerusalem. Woo, William Blake, he's a deep guy. Okay, so let's say that one more time. Imagination, the real and eternal world of which this vegetable universe is but a faint shadow. So what we are seeing in this world is but a vegetable, meaning, not as exciting as what could be in the imagined state. It's a faint shadow of the vegetable universe. And what is life? What is the life of man but art and science? So if you ever do spend some time, okay, we do little things in these videos. One of them was saying to practice acting, right? Act as if you're a millionaire. Start acting like you're a nurse. Start acting like you're the attorney. Start acting that you have the home or whatever it is. Imagine it. We're building our imagination skills, right? So we're going to continue to keep walking in the direction of these principles. Also, Disney, they have a whole Imagineering area. Someday I hope to have events at Disneyland and such, but for us to go into the Imagineering chambers to kind of percolate our dreams, goals, visions, purposes, acts of service that we imagine into reality. So, going on, imagination is more important than knowledge. Woo! Albert Einstein on science. Oh my gosh. Okay, Albert. We all know Albert Einstein was not just scientific, man. He had a beautiful heart and an amazing imagination. Okay, imagination is more important than knowledge. Because you know what? You can create things through your imagination. So you might have this hard, rigid, knowledge. Okay, sorry. You know why we call medicine practicing? We are practicing medicine. You know why? Because we are. That's exactly what we're doing. We're practicing medicine. So what was true today is not true 5 years ago. A condition that we might have done certain things and you would look at it and think, why would you stick leeches on that person? Or why would you do bloodletting? You're literally bleeding them to death. But that was the treatment, 20, 50, whatever years ago. That was the treatment. And now it's not the treatment. So we're practicing medicine because why? Every day we're learning. So Albert Einstein is saying imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge can change. Imagination can create. And it can create beautifully. Okay, so awakened imagination. Okay, chapter 1. Who is your imagination? I rest not from my great task, to open the eternal worlds, to open the immortal eyes of man inwards into the worlds of thoughts, into eternity. Did you get that? To open the immortal eyes of a man inward into the worlds of thought, into eternity, ever expanding in the bosom of God, the human imagination. Blake, Jerusalem, 5:18-20. Certain words in the course of long use gather so many strange connotations that they almost cease to mean anything at all. Such a word is imagination. The word is made to serve all manner of ideas, some of them directly opposed to the other. Fancy thought, hallucination, suspicion. Indeed, so wide is it used and so varied is its meaning. The word imagination has no status, no fixed significance. That's right. And because it's not fixed and significant, it's limitless, just like you are, just like your dreams, goals, visions, purposes, and acts of service. If you can imagine it's possible, if you can dream it, you can be it. Okay, so Neville goes on. For example, we ask a man to use his imagination, meaning that his present outlook is too restricted. and therefore not equal to the task. In the next breath, we tell him that his ideas are pure imagination, thereby implying that his ideas are unsound. So do you hear that? Both sides of it? Okay, one, you're too restricted. Open up that imagination. And then the person opens up the imagination, and then it's like, your ideas are unsound. We do this a lot to each other, and we do this a lot to children. We really want to let children expand those imaginations, of course, within safe guidelines, but it's very powerful to let them develop that mind. If you look at Elon Musk, he is not limited in imagination. If you look at some of the most incredible discoveries and things coming on the planet right now, it's not because of lack of imagination. So we speak of a jealous or suspicious person as a victim of his own imagination. So you can get that because that person torments themselves with their imagination, right? Meaning that his thoughts are untrue. A minute later, we pay a man the highest tribute by describing him as a man of imagination. So Neville Goddard is hitting all the points on how vast imagination, it could mean a million different things depending on who you're talking to, what you're talking about, if the word is valued, if it's not, if you're in the old world, the new world, wherever. So Neville goes on to say, thus, the word imagination has no definite meaning. Even the dictionary gives us no help. It defines imagination as 1, the picturing power or the act of the mind, the constructive or creative principle. Okay, that's 1. 2, phantasm. Wow, this is a lot. You remember Fantasmic at Disneyland? Disney, he and his creators were all into this. So 2, phantasm. 3, an irrational notion or belief, right? Because how many people told Elon Musk that he would never get those neural links in, or he'd never make it to space or whatever it is? I mean, great motivator, that word never sometimes, or you can't. Okay, 4, planning, plotting, or scheming as involving mental construction. Okay, so Neville gives 4 words, the word imagination being defined as. Let's go over them one more time. Even the dictionary, he says, gives no help. It defines imagination as 1, the picturing power or the act of the mind, the constructive or creative principle. I think all of us can picture that, imagination, picturing things. 2, phantasm. 3, an irrational notion or belief. 4, planning, plotting, or scheming as involving mental construction. Okay, so I'm envisioning that I'm going to build a bridge. What do I have to bring together? I'm envisioning I'm going to do an open heart surgery. What trays do I need? What professionals do I need? What pre and post and surgical people do I need? You're envisioning. Okay. Identify the central figure of the Gospels with human imagination, the power which makes the forgiveness of sins, the achievement of our goals inevitable. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. John 1:3. There is only one thing in the world, imagination, and all of our deformations of it. Okay. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Isaiah 53:3. So we all know that when Neville starts laying down the King James, he's on his way to making a point, right? Because he said if he was ever locked or stranded on a desert island, the one book he'd want with him is the Bible because it has everything in it. So imagination is the very gateway of reality. Okay, we're going to finish this video on that point. Imagination is the very gateway of reality. I want you to go to sleep and make something your little cutely cuddly. I mean, I know you're men out there too, so you don't have to get too cutie cuddly. Could be a crystal or something, just something that maybe you are kind of focusing your intention to. Imagination is the very gateway of my reality. Imagination is the very gateway of my reality. My imagination is the very gateway of my reality. I want you to go to bed and just kind of stew with that, or use that as your your meditation in the day. Okay, we are in awakened imagination, and we are in the process of tickling and teasing and waking up your imagination. So focus on that. We are going to go with that. Imagination is the very gateway of reality. All right, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for joining in with the daily prayers that are just multiplying. If you can feel it, we can. Feeling is a secret. So imagination is the very gateway of reality. We are helping to move into that fourth density is already established. A new earth is here. We are just imagining wisely and remodeling in there to how we would love this new earth to be. So I want to just thank you for the prayers. Thank you for what you're doing. I want to let you know I'm praying for each and every one of you. When you do get a chance, please do subscribe, like, and leave a positive comment. Something that might uplift somebody else in the day, because we're all coming through maybe needing a little uplift. And just know that you are here on purpose for purpose. If you needed a sign, here's the sign. Get going. I'm so glad you're here. And just remember, imagination is your gateway to your new reality. So if you don't like what you're seeing, let's reverse uno that. Let's change it. Let's create a new reality. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And may you be in, I'll be praying for each and every one of you. I pray for you daily. May you be in and at peace.